Yeah, welcome to the Bunsen Burner Recordings. I'm here with Luca of Crow's Nest. You guys probably been seeing him come up in the algorithms if you're into, metal YouTube. He has some great retrospectives on. There's Dripping, Infester, and a great video on like the scene in Malaysia that you just dropped a couple days ago, and I just watched it like a day or two ago, and you got like pretty much every angle of that scene from like the shops, the venues, people in that scene, as well as getting a lot of the like great bands from there, like Suffocation mentioned, which is like you said, hardly ever mentioned in any conversation and like death metal and stuff. Especially outshined by like the other countries, like you mentioned. But yeah, you did a great overview of that, and your video essays are just great. It's like almost like academic, like the amount of research you go into with this stuff, as well as like the visual aspects that makes it entertaining. So I just wanted to give you some props because you've only been doing it for like less than a year now, and it's great content.
Well, thank you, first of all, course, Paul, for having me on. And yeah, I mean, for the channel, it was kind of a secondary thing. Like, I started Crow's Nest Records actually while I was living in Malaysia.
Hmm.
I like mentioned that in the video. But I noticed a lot with metal YouTube. A lot of it is a little bit lazy, and people just kind of talk into like a camera for so long, and a lot of it's very like opinion based. And I kind of approached my channel in like like those mystery documentary YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like I love that shit. So because you mentioned academic, that's kind of yeah, I guess I'm approaching it in more of like a informative way. Um, so not only it's kind of organizing information and data and lore on like bands and scenes just as like a benchmark for people to like look back or to share, but also like to inform people. Because I get gatekeeping to an extent, but also
Yeah.
I'd rather people like get the full dose and the lore and understand the band and influences. So even people who like don't know about it, by watching the video, it gives them like a path to start on. Yeah,
No, yeah, totally. I agree with you. Like, we're talking about all these underground releases on this podcast here, and it's just kind of like I just want to share this stuff. It's so great and so underground that I only talk about it with a couple friends. But if we're able to document something and have some other people check it out, I mean, I think the right people will be like seeking it out.
for sure.
And I wanted to say I came in contact with your label. I think through Instagram. I just saw like the Amnio record, which you play guitar and do vocals for.
Yep.
Like we had a end of year 2025 list of albums to check out that are like newer on this channel, and
Mm.
this was actually one of the releases because I'm just a huge fan of like old school melodic death metal.
Oh,
Not
no way.
Yeah, not so much like the stuff like in Simonium and stuff like that. I feel like that's a very dark period, and after um, this sort of like cavern core stuff, I see now the direction of bands like Dungeon Serpent, Skank, and forget who else. But you guys as well, just propping up towards the end of the year, and showing more of that interest in the older style of melodic death metal. And yeah,
For
I just
sure.
thought it was really cool. So like, what attracted you to want to make stuff like that?
So Amnio, that was kind of my first actual project. I played drums in this band called Manticore. That was more like deathcore, I guess. Way back when. That was when I was like 15, 17, around that time.
Yeah.
And but of course, I come from metal. That's like always been my main thing since I was 14. And obviously have like mellow death for a long time, and I kind of wanted to just do like a melodic death metal band. And then in like 2023, I started just making demos, putting demos together, which is what would become Amnio. The first EP is a lot like cleaner, like it's just kind of it's very like mellow death, even like a little melodic metalcore inspired at parts with like the more bouncy rhythm and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
very like accessible. Um, Granted, I was pretty like I wasn't the most experienced at that time with guitar, and it was my first time actually writing songs by myself. So yeah, I mean I'm a drummer first, and I started that in 2019, and with guitar I kind of taught myself just because I wanted to play riffs, and I would just learn like random shit off of like Songster. I think the first song I learned was like Sodom, uh, Outbreak of Evil,
Mm.
um, and that started in like 2021, maybe more seriously in 2022. So I only had been playing for like 1 to 2 years guitar, which is why like it's a little simple, little like immature. Then we put out that split with Shank and Astral Decay in 2024. I'm like so proud that that era was so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, and that's when like the song started getting a little more serious, like more developed riff writing and more legit songs. And then yeah, the last thing we put out, the Psalms of Immortality album. Intestine Ballsum is my favorite band. I've like talked about that before, but I absolutely love them. They've been my favorite band for almost 6 years now.
Mm.
Um, and especially Anatomy of the Beast, that album has such like a unique vibe and charm to it, and I just kind of try to lock in as much as I could into that sound. And of course, I was helped by the other guitarist Fernando. It's me and him that write all the music currently, and we went back and forth because I was living in Malaysia when all those songs were being made. So like half of them are mainly my songs, half of them are his songs. But yeah, we work well together. I got back home and we like just went straight in the studio and recorded all of it in like a week or two. And yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And from what you said about intestine Balism, like I can kind of even see that from the album art, like that color of green that you're using on that
Yep.
that monster. And then, like you said in your subscriber video, it was taken from some lyrics, your band name. So I could definitely see the
Yep.
inspiration there. But um, I would say you guys don't sound too much like them. Like you definitely have the influence, but you're like getting at your own sound, and that sort of makes sense with having two people writing the material, like
Mhm.
constructing one song and then the other. Get more of like a mesh of influence there. So that's cool. Definitely looking forward to what you guys are going to be doing with that.
Hell yes. Yeah, I need to write because I've been so busy with like just like my other bands and shows, and obviously I was gone for the past month in Asia, but we need to like lock in and start writing the new stuff. We got like 2 songs rolling, and they're in more of a OSDM direction, so kind of like Gorment, Early Edge of Sanity, like still keeping the melodicism, but leaning a little more into just straight up OSDM territory, which already was kind of starting to happen a bit on the last album we put out. But yeah, we're all busy. I mean, Fernando, the other guitarist, he's in Washington now doing an internship. Um, but I'm sure we'll have some more stuff kind of ready to go closer to the end of this year, probably.
Yeah, and then you have like the the generic like drummer like in a million bands, you know, thing going on too. So
Oh
like you
my
said, you're
God,
super
dude,
busy.
yeah. Dude, no, it's like it's insanity. Because I love playing stringed instruments and I want to do it in more bands, but I'm only ever asked to play drums because like
Yeah, everyone can play
good
guitar.
metal, exactly, good metal drummers here, like younger, are so scarce that it always resorts to like 2 or 3 people that are even like capable of doing certain things.
Yeah, and it is kind of like a bit divided with like the younger like musicians where there isn't like so many that want to play melodic death metal or something. They're kind of more leaning into brutal death metal. Like you could see that with all the SoCal, you know, younger bands on NSC and stuff.
That's
And
the
I know
trend.
it's just so trendy right now, and melodic death metal. I don't know if it would ever be so trendy. Like I know that there's intestine balism and vehemence that are like pretty big among you know, kind of more normie people, and not so much with other bands like I could say like Autumn Leaves or stuff like that. Just more like underground melodic death metal. If you're
Yeah.
gonna like that stuff, you can, you know, spread out and see the bigger context than just like the one band or something, you know.
Mm. Yeah, Autumn Leaves. Yeah, bands no one talks about that. That's like those bands are like such metal nerd bands. I feel that. Yeah. I wonder though, because trends come and go. I mean, 2023. I mean, this isn't really metal, but 2023 was like Ephira Records, like melodic metalcore and stuff became very cool, I guess, and trendy, and everyone was doing that. And now, more recently, you have with Mass Casualty this mosh style of brutal death metal, like more simple,
Yeah,
slammy. Um, so you never know. Maybe maybe melodic death metal might be up next or one of these years.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, yeah, there's some good bands killing it. Upon Stone, I love Upon Stone. They're so sick, and they're probably one of the bigger ones for sure. They're on like Century Media. Really cool dudes.
yeah. I remember hitting you up to release or like, you know, just check out our melodic death metal band, Miss of Twilight. Like that one was released like a couple years ago. I think like 21 or something. And I think the only band at the time that I was like familiar with in melodic death metal was like Dungeon Serpent. Have you probably checked that out, right?
Yeah, actually, shout out to I think his name. I feel so bad if I'm getting his name wrong. I think his name is Elias. I know he goes by Iran, like stage name.
Yeah,
But Dungeon Serpent, yeah, he's been doing it like forever. He's been on that before almost anyone else. I remember I saw when the first Dungeon Serpent dropped on Bandcamp in like when was that 2021? But I would have been I think 16 at the time, 15 or 16, and I was very into like Argus Len and stuff because I had found it from like Wyatt X Him's channel, and I
yeah.
remember it had that tag like, oh, for fans of Intestine Ballism, Argus Len, and I'm like, bro, like
There's more.
it was
Yeah,
it was definitely like a standout. I know it got so much underground hype, but yeah, he kind of did that I think first in this whatever revival and whatnot. Um, yeah, Dungeon Serpent is very sick, and he obviously he knows his stuff very well.
yeah. He's a great guy. And what made you want to create your own label? Was it like out of necessity, like your bands, you're starting to come out with releases and you want to, you know, self-release some stuff, or you know, were you shopping those records around, or did it kind of happen at the same time?
All right, this is a juicy question. So, so initially I had Crow's Nest Zine. So this is what this started at. In 2024, I was working this kind of office job, and like 75% of the day, I literally had like shit to do, so I was just on my computer or phone, and I was reading a lot of zines on my computer from that website Take Back My Stamps from Jason Netherton, like the archive site.
Yeah,
And I was like, dude, this stuff is so cool, man. Like, whenever I would read stuff from like the metal underground, like the '90s, it had such like a charm and magic. And I'm like, bro, I want to like do something like this. So I did a zine. There's there were 3 issues. I like digitally archived them. If anyone was like in the Crow's Nest Discord server in the like directory, there's a Google Drive link where you could like read all of them.
hmm.
But I got some cool names. I did Upon Stone, Crucifier, um, shit, who else? Impure Conception, Cerebral Hemorrhage, Super Rot Records, and along with a lot of locals that I loved that I thought like needed attention. But obviously, it was very small scale. Like no one really cared or paid attention, and I like barely sold it. Just kind of like at local shows and a couple online here and there. And then after the third issue, I like put it to rest. I'm like, whatever, like, I'm just gonna keep doing bands and whatnot. And when I lived in Malaysia, because I moved there from January to June of 2025 to do an internship, and once again, I'm always keeping up with underground stuff, and I'm like, bro, seeing all these shops and all these people in the Malaysian metal scene was so cool to me. And also, there's a lot of like young bands and even my friends that I think are so talented and deserve like just. I wanted to do something more with it rather than just be like a listener. I guess I like kind of had that urge, and I'm like, bro, why don't I just do like a label? Like, fuck it. Um, my friends in the band Under Crypts, like, were gearing up to release their EP, and I thought it was so cool, and it kind of coincided. I'm like, this is a perfect first release, and they're like small and local enough to where it's like they would have been fine trusting me doing it like as a first thing on the label because it's smaller scale. And I guess one thing just led to another. I did that drop, and I mean the rest is history. It's been the growth has been like super awesome, and I'm literally doing like what I love most, so I'm like super grateful. But of course, there's been many hours and many days of work put into this. But you got to do that for anything to grow. And my number one mission with this has just been to put on for the highest quality of underground. Like I've always said, I am not dropping anything that I would not personally want to buy for my own collection. Like that's kind of like the standard I hold for everything I put out.
Yeah, I would say the same thing for us. Like, we just, were releasing some stuff, and then, bands would hit us up, and we would, both listen to it and be like, yeah, like, this is something, I would want to create and, have a physical of it. And like, now you have, like, this dripping
That
anthology,
raised the label so much.
yeah, and the deformity as well. Like, those are, like, great bands that you're, bringing back into the underground. Even though Drippin's like hustling for like these past couple of years, they've been getting a lot of attention. It's great.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I talked about that in the video, but that's so. It was so bizarre to me when they came back. Like I would have literally never expected that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I was like listening to their album, and then all of a sudden you see these hoodies pop up at the brutal death metal shows. And it's like, what? But
Yeah.
I'm happy because that was one of the better shows I seen was when they came to California, like I want to say like 2 years ago. Great
Oh yeah,
seeing
that
them.
was the Death Fest, like the mini Death Fest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of dripping, like quick side note here,
Mhm.
the one of the younger dudes in the band, Ed, like the guitarist, he's my like really good friend. He's one of my best friends. We live near each other. But in the context of the melodic death metal stuff we were talking about, me and him actually have a mellow death band, like another project that is dropping very soon. Uh, the band is called Apokatastasis. It's our first show is I don't know if you saw like the Crows Fest little like
Yeah.
mini fest I put together, but the first show is the pre-show, and it's it's a more like, I don't want to say positive, but it's almost like anime mellow death, but not in a corny way. Like it has very shreddy kind of sorrow of tranquility esque riffage going on. Um, but it still has plenty of death metal parts. But yeah, that's a project that is coming out hopefully in the next couple months.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds interesting because a lot of the like hyper melodic stuff, like there's Children of Bodom and I think like Follow Bane from Japan,
Mm.
Bloody Cum Shots. They're like super hyper melodic, and not a lot of bands can touch that and like do it in a interesting way. So I'm excited to hear that. It's just two-man project.
Our friend Eddie is also playing in it, and he's currently I mean, he's kind of part of Dripping now too, but he plays bass. But we're all like younger. We're the same age. Eddie actually played. He had this solo project, bro. If he listens to this, he's probably gonna want to shoot me for even mentioning this. But He had like this solo BDM online project called Flesh Resection that maybe you know.
No, not familiar.
Flesh Resection. It was he. You mentioned Jack from Apokatastasis. He like shouted him out in that CD insert. So kind of like a small world moment. But that was back in like 2021. But yeah, it's right now like mainly the three of us. But obviously there's gonna be a full lineup for when we play live.
Yeah, and as a newer label, is there like things that you see other labels do or don't do that you kind of want to change for your own, like Crow's Nest? Like, obviously, putting this fest together is like something a lot of labels don't really do, besides, was it Dead by Dog?
Oh, I'm going to that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, shows are a lot of work, logistically and stuff, but I'm lucky enough we have a good ass scene here, so like I have no doubt it's gonna do well. People are gonna show up and stuff. Yeah, no, Anthony from Classic Steel Productions is helping me out with everything. He's like uh double my age, so he's been around and has more of a grasp on like logistics and stuff. So he's been a huge help, and it's mixing kind of his expertise um, with that, and then obviously my kind of understanding of the like relevancy of what bands to put on and kind of how to mold the show to the lineup that it is and stuff. Um, so yeah, that's been coming out awesome. I'm super excited. And in terms of like other labels that like you said, um, a big thing that like I kind of pride myself in for Crow's Nest is kind of the diversity, because a lot of labels kind of specialize in one thing, which is there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's good to have like very strong in a specific niche. Like we were talking about brutal death metal, there's plenty of people that are just doing only that right now. And with Crow's Nest, I try to keep it diverse, and I try to push everything I put out so people can, expand their palette, even if it's not something in the genre of choice for them. But I put out black metal, uh, melodic death metal, brutal death metal, um, but I obviously keep like a really high bar of quality for myself. So I would hope like everyone is checking out everything like regardless of the genre, because I try to keep it diverse, just best of all the different types of metal.
No, yeah, I can. You don't want your like someone to come and be like, okay, Crow's Nest melodic death metal label, whatever they put out. I'm gonna check it out because I like melodic death metal. It's like now I'm coming to Crow's Nest because they put out good shit, like no
Exactly.
matter what it is. So yeah, that's cool. I know you have it was a Hacksaw. That's like the more brutal death metal leaning project.
Oh, dude, yeah. I can't say enough praise for them. Those are my boys, especially Colin, the guitarist and vocalist. He's my very good friend. Um, they deserve so much more attention, dude. I think they're really sick and a very unique band. We don't really have any other bands like that here.
Yeah, and I believe they're playing the Crows Fest, right?
Yep.
Nice. And regarding uh, black metal, because in your videos I've watched, I've seen it was just mainly questions about like BDM or some like melodic death metal. But were you like in any black metal projects, or check out the like Swedish black death kind of stuff like Dawn and
Oh,
stuff
I
like
love
that?
Dawn. I have a Slaughter Son on CD. Um,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I want to make a video soon because I did like a top 10 death metal. I want to do a top 10 black metal. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a death metal guy for sure. Like that's definitely my subgenre of choice and probably my favorite genre of music. Period. Um, but I love my black metal. Um, yeah, I gotta make that video soon. But some of my favorites would be like early Over, the first Inquisition album, Nocturnal Mortem. I love that Finnish band. I might butcher this, but they're called like Siellä Unvihollinen,
Hmm.
like melodic black metal. Their 2019 album Kuolonkil Vaha. That's like that to me is a modern classic. It's so good. Um,
Yeah.
what else? Oh, I love Kvist from Norway. That shit is like incredible. Um, and then of course the classics. The the bands I don't need to even say that everyone likes.
Yeah, and with like black metal, are you getting more like something else than like from melodic death metal? Do you kind of go for like your melodies from like that genre and try to obtain like something else from black metal, like more like atmosphere stuff, or is it all, you like all kinds?
Do you mean like for the black metal I listen to, or for like influences for music?
Uh, both.
Um, I would say I prefer melodic, yeah, melodic black metal, but like with more of an aggressive edge. Like the black metal band I've been listening to the most recently is Kvist, like
Mm-hmm.
Kvist. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I like. Oh, of course I fucking love Emperor too. Anthems to the
Mm-hmm.
Welkin at Dusk is amazing. Um, yeah, I like stuff that has like an aggressive edge. Like guitars really putting in the work and but still have like a sense of melody. Atmospheric stuff is cool, but I'm like low key probably have a low attention span, so I don't put on atmospheric stuff that often nowadays. Um, Maybe like hints of atmosphere, like Nagelfar from Germany has great passages. I know that guy was like in the ruins of Beverus too. Um, Burzum tracks, stuff like that is always good, but it's not my immediate go-to. And in terms of bands I play in, I don't really take much of an influence from black metal, at least for any of my current projects. I know Fernando, the other guitarist of Amnio, he definitely does. He's more of a black metal guy than me, I would say. Like he fucking loves Dissection. I'm pretty sure that's like his favorite band in metal. Um, so he definitely brings a little bit of that into the influences.
Cool. Yeah, because there's a like a ton of like melodic black metal bands that kind of blur the line between death and black metal, and like you mentioned, Dissection, such a perfect example. And like there's bands like Decameron, Cardinal Sin, that are like extremely melodic and kind of toe the line of like black and death metal, but I think they kind of lay more in uh, melodic black metal than death metal, but just two sides of the same coin at this point.
For sure.
Just melodic music,
Yep.
and we can get into like your drumming style. Like when you listen to like death metal nowadays, are you like interested in stuff that's more like technically proficient and like BDM bands where they're just like hyper technical, throwing in fills and splashes and gravity blasts all over the place, or are you more uh, like dismember type drumming where it's just bringing the song or playing the parts for the song?
Usually I would say maybe playing the parts for the song. I do love technical music though, but I would say like just tasteful drumming. I like the chaotic drumming, but if you're talking about BDM, a lot of like for example the new standard elite bands where it's just like like just the whole song. It's like
Yeah,
all
the
right, bro, like
blasturbation.
like you listen, like they're good as fuck. They're very good at drums, but it's kind of just like boring and one dimensional. Just like how fast can I play? Um, yeah, I like tasteful drums. I'm more of a riff guy though. Like it's funny because I am a drummer first, but metal is a guitar genre to me. Like that's always what I is at the forefront when I'm listening to something.
Yeah.
But I would say the best drums are those that are technically capable but are still mostly following or accenting the song. Like
Yeah,
the whole song is like one unit.
yeah, that makes sense because there's bands that, like you said, just do the straight like blasturbation, and it's kind of you lose the rest of the riffs along with it. And as a drummer, like when you're composing riffs and songs and stuff, does that come into effect at all? Because there's definitely a different type of breed of like songs and bands where it's like more drummer oriented, not so much like doing like crazy fills or something, um, but just the construction of songs. Like there's Cauldron Black Ram, that's like a great example of that. So like, does that come into play with like your writing, or are you just coming straight from like guitar playing?
Usually guitars first, and then like when I'm writing for Amnio, for example, I always come up with riffs first, and then I'll throw in drum patterns and mess around with different beats and stuff over it. Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And do you I know you mentioned like technical death metal. Is it like more like the newer variety, like stuff like Necrophagus, Psychroptic, or is it like more old school stuff like Liars in Wait, Crystal Age, and stuff like that?
I like both. When it comes to more brutal stuff, like I love the first Spawn of Possession album, Cabinet. Like it like scratches my brain because it's so over the top technical, but it's still very clear and punchy. Like you can kind of everything that's going on is pretty clear. You could hear it, and it has catchy parts. What else tech death?
Like there's a Nada too,
Oh
the
yeah,
Swedish technical band, and like what I really like about like their more modern take is that the riffs are of course technical, but they don't lose that melodicism to them and their like catchiness. It's just like a perfect blend between the two styles, I think.
yeah, for sure. It's good. Yeah, technicality is good when it's still musical. You know, I like fast and technical music. So it did obviously when you get to the newer stuff, there's plenty of like the more overproduced bands where it's like just kind of slop. But there's a couple modern ones I could still enjoy. I mean, there's that band First Fragment, um, that's like pretty damn modern, but I do enjoy their music.
Yeah, I just think like once you like if you can hear the performance behind it instead of just being like a click throwing in samples over everything, it's you know something I would rather listen to like that. But we also wanted to go over a record or demo that Luca brought on. I asked him, pick something underground, and he, blew it out of the park. Something I don't know, but coming from a great scene, it's Netherlands. Ton of great death metal bands from there, melodic ones like we mentioned with like Autumn Leaves and stuff. Um, But yeah, let's get into this. So, what is how'd you come into finding these guys, and what kind of made them stick to you?
So Compost Mentis, yeah, this is like underground. Like I've never met anyone that has ever heard of this.
Yeah, this is the bottom of the iceberg.
But I was shown it by a friend. I cannot remember if it was my friend Noah who he shanked like the solo project that Amnio did a split with. That was his project.
Yeah,
Um, but I think it was either him that sent me it or Alex from Astro Decay. It was one of the we had this group chat way back then, not way back then, like a couple of years ago, but one of them sent me it, I'm pretty sure, or someone sent it to them and they sent it to me, but I found it through that kind of grapevine. And it was one of those demos where it was like I hit click and it's like 30 seconds and I'm like, dude, this is fucking amazing. Like it was one of those like love at first listens for me, which is extremely rare to be impressed like that quickly, especially nowadays.
yeah, same here. Like when I first listened to it, that like sort of intro section that they have like really brings you in, and they kind of just like take the rug from underneath you and go in a different direction. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's very unique, and I always love death metal that like is melodic but not necessarily mellow death. Like they blend that OSDM, they have awesome melodic riffs, and then they also have like they have heavy ass parts, you know? Like they have straight
Yeah,
up
it's like
like friggin' slam breakdowns in there.
yeah, I was gonna say very like rhythmic, negative space, like almost like deathcore breakdowns.
Yeah, I'm very curious like what they were taking influence from. Um, I mean, Netherlands had a bunch of sick bands. I'm sure there was some Pestilence in there for like the more chuggy parts. there's weird bands like Phlebotomize that some of like their acoustic passages remind me of. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's one demo, but it packs a big punch. Like there's so much going on, and it doesn't do too much, but it's also not too simple. It's like to me, it's a perfect death metal demo. Like it's amazing, and yeah, I mean that first riff in Creation Undone is like, dude, how the fuck do you even write that? Like it's such a good riff.
Yeah, and like the Netherlands scene, of course, is like infamous. You got like Altars, Fix, Burial, there, Ceremony, great bands, and then you got like weirder stuff too. Like, have you heard of Crom Kuat, Sensio from 1998?
Say that name again.
It's like Crom Kuat, CROMMCRUAC.
I don't think I've heard that.
Man, this is like very like the kind of technical prog death fusion, and the record from '01 is great too. Meadows of Madness.
I gotta check that.
Yeah, and then they also have like great like death doom stuff like there, Derilium, Necroschisma too. So it's like a very big scene there with a ton of different influences. God Dethrone, of course, too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like this again, like amongst those peers, it does stand out, and amongst like more melodic death metal, it does stand out too. And I think your distinction between it not being melodic death metal and being more death metal with melody, I think like Jub from Radio Free Innsmouth mentioned that with Gorment.
I was literally about to say it reminds me of like a more heavy Gorment, like a chuggier Gorment kind of.
Yeah, I could definitely hear that, and it kind of reminds me of like their more chuggier parts. Like it's more like kind of hardcore almost, and there's like bands that came on like later that were like more like melodic, like metalcore, but like more metal leaning with like the Bremen core scene and stuff. So it kind of reminded me of like a progenitor of that stuff, like kind of fusing those two styles together, because normally with like hardcore you just get something more brutal with like BDM and stuff, but it's nice to hear it in a different scenario, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I really wonder what influences they're taking from for that stuff.
Yeah, and let's get into a track. Believe you picked the first one, Creation Undone, and we'll listen to it and talk about it once we come back. So we'll be back. All right, we're back from listening to that first song, Luca. What can you say about that?
Well, I don't think I need to say anything. No, but it's an awesome track. It's my favorite because it kind of blends everything. You have the really well put together melodic riffs. You have the clean guitar, then just like the regular death metal parts, and then of course the like heavy, almost slam moments. Yeah, to me that's like just a perfect death metal track and a ridiculously good opener.
Oh yeah, just the way that it drops out, brings in the acoustic guitars, and then goes straight into these like melodic leads, just so great. And this band, they seem sort of like not not like hindered to like not go so fast, but like they kind of stay in this one place. Like it's almost just like a double time of their slower groovy sections that they're doing, and like you mentioned, that just heavy out of nowhere riff, just so reminiscent of like some like just New York BDM stuff. It's just great production, and what I find that isn't so common in like melodic death metal is the actual like death metal low growls. A lot of the time they go for like a higher register, uh, kind of like shout, scream, like Cantor's Quintet, and of course, like all the more black metal bands that are melodic. But this one just straight guttural, and it's great. So like, is that something that you notice in other melodic death metal bands? They just kind of go for like this higher register stuff and don't keep it low, like Edge of Sanity or something.
Yeah, I mean, I know you said you like the earlier mellow death, in which I feel like a good amount were doing the lower stuff. Even like that band Excretion from Sweden. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
a lot, yeah. I mean, Gorman. But then, yeah, later on, especially like the Dark Tranquility style, they were using more black metal-y, like higher register vocals. But yeah,
Yeah,
Compo's Mentis
even
is pretty guttural.
yeah, like even as far back as like At the Gates, Eucharist and stuff, like their higher register vocals, and then of course all the like peaceful stuff that's also very very melodic, but of course in the other direction of slower guitar leads. But I think a lot of people can get something from there. But
Mhm.
with this track, yeah, just a perfect blend of everything, and it kind of shows you what else you're gonna get for the record. Like there isn't really any other surprises. Like they kind of touch on all the cornerstones of this record. Um, let's get into the next track that you wanted to go sample. So that's gonna be the last song, "Sadness End," and then we'll be
Mhm.
right back. Cool, we're back from Sadness Ends, and yeah, what'd you think of that one? I mean, it seems almost like a whole different beast from that first track, just so much heavier.
Yeah, this one's more of a, I guess more chunky, and my favorite part is that one like solo section when it has the acoustic guitar. I love the choice of chords they use. It
Yeah,
sounds
they're
like
for sure
ancient
like
almost.
harmonizing towards the end of that part. Like it comes in with the chords, drops out acoustic guitar, bring the chords back out with the solo. It's just great, and I love like the sort of narrative songwriting that you have in here. It's not so much like, of course not verse chorusy, but it's like, all right, we'll just bring like the cool parts back, and just want to
Yep.
showcase as many riffs as they have. And at
Yeah.
the beginning of the track, and I think towards the middle before that chorded section, there was like a lot of instrumental interplay that they had that must have come from just like jamming around, because it had this very like physical energy to it, almost like like almost a predecessor to like some of that like hardcore like Tom Phil build up shit.
Yeah, I could hear it. I like that it's raw though. I love when releases sound like organic almost, you know? Like especially the drums, they sound it's like you're hearing it in the
Yeah, it's
studio
just like
type of thing.
so yeah, just like raw. You can hear the performance coming through, and just a perfect mix of that as well. Like nothing is really muddied in here. Even you can hear some of the bass and then guitar interplay between each other. It's just great. Um, but yeah, what I really like about this release, and to hammer it home again, just having that foundation of death metal, but also incorporating this melody in there. It's like it doesn't necessarily have to make everything so sugary and like one note with like melodic death metal or just melodic guitar. It's when done well like this, it's just like a perfect contrast. Like you get such great guitar like performances in there with not only like heavy rhythmic stuff or just fast chaotic riffing, but also like very musical sections that it's kind of hard to find in anything else besides um, melodic death metal, like that balance.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's very unique. It's a very unique
yeah, and
release.
thanks for bringing this one on and showing the listeners this one. This is for sure something that I wouldn't have heard without you coming on. So thank you, man.
Hell yes. Well, I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you have your label. Like where can we find your stuff? You have a website, Instagram, of course the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Obviously the main platform, like everything is announced and posted and stuff on the Instagram, which is just Crow's Nest Rex. Uh, and then yeah, the YouTube channel is more like periodical posting. Once a week, I try to maintain kind of something like that. And yeah, the website's just in the link in both the bio of the YouTube and the Instagram, just like a shop.
Cool.
I one day I want to do a pressing of this Compost Mentis thing. I gotta try to get a hold of one of those guys. It would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, if it were to come out on any label, it seems like yours is a great fit.
Yeah,
Like,
to do like a comp of the first demo and the creation Undone.
yeah, that'd be something if you're able to get in contact with these guys. um, and of course you have Crows Fest. It's like, is it like very soon? Is it like this week that you're doing
Aug
that?
no, it's in the at the end of the first week of August, August 7th and 8th.
Oh, okay. Got some time. So
Yeah, still a
there's,
couple months.
you know, I think there's a couple guys in Florida that listen to this, but if you're, you know, haven't heard of this Crows Fest, check it out. Great young bands, as well as Dripping coming down. And you're on like distros too. I think like Iron Fortress. I've seen some of your stuff. Where's some like other places they can find you?
Um, yeah, the Ben from Iron Fortress is the real tapped into the underground. He's gotten some of my stuff in stock. That's the only person I've wholesaled to so far. Um, like, I guess exported my stock out, but I've wholesaled from a couple other labels for myself. Most recently from like Headsplit for that Nedgrav CD.
Great album.
Yeah, that shit is so good. And then I think Funeral Industries wants to kind of partner with some stuff to like for me to pitch things to them for like vinyl pressings, but yeah, I've been emailing them about that. But yeah, I mean, the Crow's Nest record is still pretty new, so no, it's mostly in-house as of right now. But hopefully I'll start doing some more wholesaling soon. It would be sick.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all your releases as well as bands that you're coming out with. And I think for such a short amount of time, you got a great traction and great content with your YouTube channel. Very like in-depth analysis on bands that usually people just show the record and like move on and show the next record on YouTube. It's a
Yeah.
little bit more substance in there, so that's great. And of course, thank you so much for joining us on our show.
Yes, thank you, Paul, for having me. And we gotta do that Mist of Twilight thing soon. I've been like bogged with a bunch of stuff, but hopefully later this year, there will be like a slot to do it because I would love to put out that CD.
Yeah, glad you like that. It's one I drum on, and my buddy in Galicia, he does the guitar. We had, have you heard of the band Serenitis? They're like death doom band.
Serenitis?
Yeah,
No, I don't think so.
it's like a one man like death doom project. He like ended up joining up with Ceremonium, so he's gonna be like playing live with them and shit.
Oh, that's so cool. What?
Yeah, so that just like came out of nowhere. I'm proud of that guy, James. So yeah, and then there's another bassist from Fossilize, some like more cavern death metal sort of stuff.
Mm.
But yeah, that was like our little melodic project. So I'm glad got in contact with you, and hopefully we're able to put it out soon.
Hell yes. Yeah, I'm very down. I just been busy since I just got back and a couple drops I've been keeping my hands full right now, but let's definitely do it.